welcome to the video. Today's one's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to talk you through a show day, what to expect. Sorry, it's focusing on the white monster here. Beautiful. I'm sure some of you will enjoy that. But I'm going to talk you through a show day and kind of what to expect, how it runs. There's some, chaotic parts about it, which is right now people shouting, everyone's getting ready, everyone's moving about, and you don't know who's on, when they're on. It's hard to keep track of things. And I'll give you some tips and tricks, everything for the day as a whole. Going to go through some of the posing as well, so I'll get up a little bit closer. I'll show you what it's like when they're calling that out at, like natural shows that aren't, the Mr. Olympia. You'll be able to see it by watching stuff like that. But more popular shows just here in the UK that you might be attending, you might be competing at. So what that's like and how long you're looking to hold the poses for, what to do with practicing your pose. And I might get Matt into the video as well to give you some advice for that too. We've got young Mikey here. Hey.
Dark chocolate and well done.
Oh, let's get it for him. The way drip. What flavour have you got?
Strawberry cream form. It's actually alright.
Strawberry cream.
There are better.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't say top tier.
You're getting protein powder. Do not get that as your first choice. 100% not.
What code do you use if you're getting the Perform protein powder?
Code Mikey.
Or code Josh 10 at pit stop.
There we are.
That's it. But yeah, it's going to be good. Mikey should be on later on today as well, so we'll obviously document that too and how he does. And I think Mikey will be a very good example of of how to pose, how to be composing yourself on stage, making sure you get a nice big bright smile there as well. So yeah, we'll cover everything. But enjoy the video. If you have any questions at all in the comment section about competing that you want to ask, please do let me know. But yeah, let's get into it.
And our champion for our first timers junior bodybuilding class, number 37, Rudolph
Absolutely phenomenal. Let's say thank you to our team in the back, our juniors in the back. Awesome. Congratulations. We'll see you in the overall at the end of the day. Let's hear it. Welcome to the stage, guys. Face the front. Stay nice and still. You're now being judged. Don't cover your badges with your hand. Keep your badges open at all times. All right.
Right, we're going to have a wee look at Mikey posing just now. I've recorded some content of that juniors class there, what it's like when they are calling out the winning shots, the podium, first, second, third. I think I only got second and first, to be fair, but what that's like, and then also a little bit of the men's physique guys coming out, how they're going to bring you onto stage, going to bring you into the middle. They'll usually be split into one at the side here, one at the side there. You hit your poses, make sure you stay in your pose as well. So when you stood at the side of the stage, if it's bodybuilding, you stay in your front relaxed. If it's in your men's physique class, still your front relaxed, making sure you still got your abs on. Because let's have a look at Mikey. Right, so we're going to get into some of the tips and tricks and things that you might not know of, because realistically no one else has told you. Like, no one else talks about a lot of this stuff. Right, I've got a wee list of things. This list of things to talk through. It's actually quite a lot. So we're going to talk about stuff to bring, stuff to be aware of, and little tips and tricks for just the show day as a whole. Now, I'm doing a wee video for my YouTube about what to expect on show day and little things to be aware of. Matt just said a good one about cocks, because he loves cocks.
I love cock.
Brilliant.
So, this little tip, if you are competing...
This little tip.
Pardon the pun. If you are competing and you go for a piss and you've obviously got tan on you, make sure you put your cock sock back on immediately after you piss, because you don't want little dribbles just kind of going down, ruining your tan.
What's Is it you that said that?
I put the balls in.
Who asked that?
I put the ball in.
Yeah, you get your balls in the cock sock.
Imagine if you didn't.
Yeah, if you didn't put the balls... falls off. Mate, the Romanian show that I was at, no one had the cocksock on. Like, all the old guys just had their dicks out. I loved it. Brilliant. Yeah, did I?
He was a child.
Of course I did,
Legally,
mate.
He was a child.
Haha, why is he so small? Haha, little Scottish boy, so small. Yeah. But no, yeah, that was a strange experience. I'm only 18. So yeah, I would definitely get the balls and the cocksock. It's good advice for that.
It helps it stay on.
Yes. Mate, if you can keep your cocksock on without your balls in it, then that's extremely impressive. I'd need to have a full rod on, yeah. This is peak content, this. But yeah, like, after you piss, there's always that little bit, like 2 minutes later, when you, like, just take a step and that little bit dribbles out and you're like, oh, fuck. And if that literally touches the inside of your leg, it's going the whole way down, it'll ruin your tan. Don't stress, obviously, if it happens. Yeah, that's your loss. You might as well go home. But yeah, like, try and stay on top of keeping your tan as best as possible. Some stuff for that. The night before, I know this isn't on show day, but the night before, when you get your base coat, so how it works is you'll get a base coat the day before, usually like late afternoon, evening time, and then you'll get your top coat on the day, usually morning. So I would sleep in baggy clothes, sleep with clothes on, otherwise you're going to get a tan all over the bed, and try and keep your hands away from like your face or anything, and that's why you want to keep the clothes on. If you are lying your hands on your chest, you're going to wake up with a big imprint on your chest. So wear your clothes, wear baggy, light clothes. What do you wear? Just like kind of...
I would wear...
You don't wear gasp, do you?
I do. I
You
have
wear
a
a
pair
gasp?
of grey gasp joggers that I only wear the night before show.
Yeah, I was doing the
don't care if they
explosive
get,
fibre ones, yeah.
I don't care if they get stained, get ruined. Put them on. Sometimes I would sleep in a sleeping bag as well, so not actually put like a duvet cover on, just stay in a sleeping bag. Obviously wear full clothes. Sometimes I'll wear a hoodie. If I feel quite warm, I'll just put a t-shirt on, baggy t-shirt, baggy sweats.
Make sure you're not sweating like a ridiculous
That's the main
amount.
thing,
If you're in a room that's really, really warm, either get yourself a fan or open the windows. Simple. And again, if you are wearing clothes to bed, which you most likely should be, making sure that it is baggy, light clothes, not anything super, super heavy. So that stuff for the heavy. So yeah, that's some stuff for the tan. Other stuff for tan as well. No deodorant. So
Nothing
no
like a
deodorant,
fragrance
no
or-
aftershave, no fragrances, nothing.
No moisturiser.
No moisturiser.
So, like
yeah.
after you shave, you do your last shave. Do not put moisturiser on to help.
Oily, and then the tan doesn't stick and it's like falling off you. Who was it? Ocean. That ended up doing it, and the tan didn't sit properly. Bring black bed sheets as well if you are going to an Airbnb, even if you're sleeping in your own bed. You don't want to get fucking covered in brown tan. Looks like shat yourself. Or you do just shit yourself. I nearly done that. Yeah. Actually, it was a really good peeking protocol. So if anyone wants a secret, DM me shit yourself.
I've done it.
And I can give you the perfect peeking protocol. Yeah, exactly. Don't. This one seems really obvious, but don't shower. Like, fucking don't shower. Again, this is someone's going to be watching this video that has got no clue about bodybuilding, that doesn't really know like what the process is for competing. Don't shower once you get.
Sometimes they do say rinse it off. Not like fully, but just like a light.
Yeah,
Sometimes they do say
read what the tannins say, but realistically, if it is just a spray and tan, if you're getting your own tan done that you're patting it on, I would look to do that. If you have your own secret methods, because I think Martin does that actually. Martin, that works at Pit Stop, that's Josh's client, he puts a coat on and showers the night before and then goes on the next day. But personally, like, the most common thing to do and the best thing to do in my opinion, get your base coat the night before and then get your next coat the day of the show. Glazing is another big one as well, because it's so common. Like, even watching some of that, like some of those classes there, everyone's got like no glaze on. They're completely dry and it just doesn't look quite right. It makes you look fat, doesn't it? Like, if you've not got proper glazing on, like, it does take away from detail and it takes away from
Yeah, like at the
doesn't look
UKDFBA
quite
show
right.
last week, there was a couple of guys didn't get glazed properly, or they just soaked up all of the glaze, and when they started sweating on stage, they actually looked like 10 times better.
So
It just
Mondo,
looked
when
really
he was
good.
competing, he came back to back. He came on back to back because he won the heavyweight class, and then he came back on for the overall. And then when he was sweating, what are you giggling at? Heavy. Fucking hell, man. So when he came back on, like, he was sweating through his upper body, and his upper body looked mint, like really good, because he was just covered in sweat, and it looked as if he had proper like glazing. So this is what we've got here, the Finn Kelly special. We'll get that. There we go. What does it actually say on it? Nourishing sheen spray. No, I can see the olive oil part. I'm looking at the
What's it actually
alcohol-free nourishing sheen spray.
Coconut
I
oil.
think is it a
Dry hair.
hair? Yeah, it moisturizes and dries your hair. It smells nice. I like the smell of it. I don't know what some people think, but when I go backstage and I smell that, it's good memories. But this stuff, lather yourself in it. Fucking all over. They should glaze you backstage, depending on the federation. Some federations, like the BNBF, they give you like a little bottle, and it's just like actual. What would you even call that? Like little sticky patty. It's as if it's like soap. Yeah, like you're supposed to. Yeah, gloves on. You like lather it all over yourself. But I quite like the spraying something on. Sits a little bit better, sits a little bit more even. It's not as like blotchy. So get backstage and make sure you get enough glaze on, because if you don't have enough glaze on, it doesn't look quite right. And I'd usually say put more on than you'd think, realistically. Yeah, you don't want to be like super close up, but like a wee bit away. Yep, and then you're boom all over the body, making sure that you've got your full glaze on. Chilling out. I got a good little clip of Mikey there. I was like zooming in his feet and shit. It was brilliant. I said I'm going to sell that for a good amount of money. But yeah, for like chilling out, that's a massive part of bringing a good look on show day. So what Mikey's doing right now, I'll put the clip up on screen. Lying down, feet elevated, and just chilling the fuck out. Sleeping if you can. And this is where having someone else to go and do the running about for you is quite an important thing. So having your coach there with you, someone who knows about bodybuilding, someone there to support you. If it's a family member, it's a little bit more difficult because they'll struggle to know where the show's at, what's happening, when you're going to be on. But having someone there to do the running about for you allows you to just relax. When your heart rate is elevated, when you're up and about speaking to someone, when you're on your feet, you're going to fatigue yourself, you're going to burn through your foods, and you're not going to look as fresh as you should on stage. You want to look fresh. That is one of the main things. So making sure that you are chilling out. Get a bag or a seat or something to put your feet on top of so you can elevate your feet above the body, and that allows you to drop off inflammation, fatigue through them, and keep them super fresh. Staying calm is important. Obviously, there's only so much you can do. Like, you're about to go on a stage in front of 500 people with a little thong on. You've never done it before if you're a first-time competitor, so there is going to be some nerves there, but just try and realise that everyone is here to do the same thing. Like, if you think, oh, what are people going to think, oh, I don't know what's going to happen, I'm super nervous for this, everyone here today is there to do that. You're not alone, and realistically, if you think, fuck, if I cock up my routine and it doesn't go right, again, people have watched hundreds and hundreds of routines today. Like, they're not going to overthink or be like, oh, look at that. You know, it's just another routine. Now, that sometimes sounds a little bit bad because it's just another routine. Obviously, it's extremely important to you. But if anything goes wrong, you do not need to worry about it. Like, don't stress or worry at all. Glaze-wise, we've covered that. Water manipulation, because I feel like this is a massive kind of, what's the word that I'm looking for? Misconception. Fucking brilliant. This is why we've got this guy here.
I read the dictionary from time to time. I'm the brains behind this business.
Exactly.
Funny enough.
The handsomeness as well. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, like water, a lot of people, even Mikey was saying it yesterday, like there was people asking him like, how much water have you drank? And Mikey said 8 litres today, and they were like, whoa, I've only drank 500 ml, I'm only allowed to sip my water like a day out. There's fucking no point in doing so. Like, if you're eating carbs, you're trying to feed up, you're trying to look fresher, if you get fuck all water to move it about, it's not going anywhere, it's not going to do anything. Making sure that you stay hydrated enough to actually get a pump before you go on stage. If you've had no water, you're not getting a pump at all. A pump is massive, you know, it's going to drastically improve your physique. Think about what you feel like post-workout once you've had a really good pump, you've had a good amount of food, you've had your normal water. You know, you look 10 times better. If you can't do that on stage and you go on again with no ability to actually get a good pump, you're going to look drastically shitter. So make sure that you aren't completely cutting off water. I would say sip on water on the day, like just to make sure that your urine's still relatively clear, so that you're still hydrated. Don't be gubbing water down. It depends obviously your situation, like if you know how you react to certain things and you and your coach have discussed that, then you know there's different ways to approach things, but I would just say not cut off water. Make sure that the day before that you are adequately hydrated, and on the day that you keep water coming in so that you can get a pump. Anything else?
I think one of the most difficult aspects, if you're on if you're in for 2 different classes, it's trying to manage that in between stage where you've done your first class, you've maybe peaked for it.
You're puffing at your arse and you're really bad.
You're blown, okay? You've probably sweated on stage. You need to rehydrate. You need to get water and electrolytes back in.
Yep.
But once again, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to cause bloating because, you know, depending on, well, I suppose for every division, you don't want a distended midsection. But for something like classic physique where you need a tiny waist, if you're constantly, or if you're drinking loads and loads of water to rehydrate, you know, that's going to affect your midsection. So you need to be very careful with what you do. Like Josh sort of said, I would just kind of sip to thirst, rehydrate immediately after, and then just sip until you're happy. So.
Yeah, perfect. Everything else I've said there, give yourself time to pump up. So a lot of the time, like, it can be super hectic. You don't want to be stressed before you go on stage. If you're sat there, like, I've obviously said to relax and chill out, but make sure that you do know when roughly you are going on and staying on top of that. Now, if you go into the show day thinking, right, I'm going to be on at 4 p.m, you're probably not going to be on at 4 p.m. Don't be like, right, oh, okay, I'll start getting ready at 20 to 4, start getting pumped up then. There's a good chance you could be on at 6 p.m, there's a chance you could be on at 3 p.m. It really, really depends on where the show's at, how it's running, etc, etc. Stay on top of where the show is at, at the start of your section, be like, right, that's the start of my section. I'm 5 classes into that, maybe 3 classes before I'm on, I'm going to start getting pumped up. That gives me plenty of time to actually get blood flowing, get things moving. I get moved backstage, I can make sure that I've got my pump up drink in. Definitely have a pump up drink as well if that's something that you've not thought about or not considered doing. Some form of pump product. My personal favourite, CNP Full Pump Tropical Thunder. You like that as well? That's
I
your
really
favourite?
like that. I've used Mega Pump as well. I found I had to use a lot of Mega Pump though.
Yep.
So I was using maybe like 30 grams. And then obviously if you're doing multiple classes, that's like 60 grams, 90
hell of a
grams.
lot,
It's
yeah.
a lot of pump product.
Did you go 20 grams of full pump? I done 2 full scoops and that
Yeah, I
worked
did. I think it was 20
perfectly.
grams. I think I maybe did like 4 grams of pink salt, maybe
Yep.
a bit of low salt, bit of creatine in there.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what we did. But I think
Anything else in that, Finn?
caffeine, that's one, like a couple of people have had, a stim pre-workout for their pump-up drink. If you know you can cope with that, do it, okay? It's not the end of the world, but I know for me personally, if I have a stim, it elevates my heart rate, elevates my cortisol, just start stressing out, and then you're obviously in a heightened state. Yeah, you don't want to be jittery. You want to be very composed on stage. So a pump product can help with that. It can help calm your nerves a little bit more compared to using a stim pre-workout.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of the actual pump up, if you think about like what your best look is post-workout, you've trained for maybe like 90 minutes, 2 hours. Don't give yourself 10 minutes to pump up because you'll rush through it. You might not get a good pump, or you'll start sweating badly and you'll start panicking. So give yourself like even 30 minutes.
I think
potentially a bit
actually feeling as well where it is pumped up, like where it feels most pumped up, where it doesn't. Like once you've done like a few little rounds, like a wee circuit of like a bicep curl, like a kickback tricep extension, your lateral raises, some push-ups, stuff like that. Contract your chest, contract your arm, contract your back. What feels pumped up? When you contract your arm, you can't touch your shoulder, you're like, fucking hell, my arms are pumped up. If you feel that, perfect. But then if you go to your tricep and you're like, that doesn't feel as pumped up, even though I've done the same amount, like, get some more blood into those areas. If you know you've got a weaker point in general, let's say for myself, my chest, for yourself, your back, get a little bit more blood into those areas that are weaker. And if it's something you've discussed with your coach before, let's say that you've got a really, 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 really strong point and a really weak point, that they're like right next to each other, maybe even don't pump up the strong point and just get as much blood pumping into that weaker point as possible. Don't pump up your legs either. Again, this is a lot of this stuff to us sounds like, all right, well, of
don't
course you
even
wouldn't do
think
that.
about it,
Yeah, but like to a lot of people, even myself, like before I started competing, I had no clue about any of this stuff. Do not pump up your legs. Don't be doing squats backstage because you want to keep them as fresh as possible. And also, don't be training legs close to the show as well. I'd say like no less than 5 days before the show, and even at that, like a very much reduced session, reduced volume, reduced intensity, a lot more like kind of short and contracted work, instead of lengthened and heavily loaded lengthened work like a hack squat, a leg press, etc. You don't want to be putting too much stress and fatigue on the muscle. Just like some little leg extensions, hamstring curl, some light adductors if you wanted to get some blood into them, but nothing demanding at all. Posing rounds before you go on, you can.
I think what I did for one of the shows was I would do like a kind of like a round of my pump up, and then I would do a round of posing, and I would kind of be able to assess, okay, well, I'm hitting the front relaxed here, I'm not able to sort of stem my lats as well, I need a little bit more through the back, and I'll go again. But it's a really good way to sort of shuttle everything into those muscles. If you look at the old school guys, they would like when they're training, they would pose directly after a set because they're trying to drive all the blood into the muscle to get it more full and more pumped. So you can definitely use that to your advantage. Do a round of your pump up, little bit of posing, go again. Okay. But I think definitely using posing as a way to sort of shuttle everything into the muscle is very advantageous as well.
Yeah, I would agree. Everything else, chilling out, lying down, feet elevated, staying calm, tanning tips, we've kind of went through that. On the actual day, like, how does it run? when do you need to get there, what's the situation, how do you know when your class is on, and so on and so forth. So make sure that you are there early enough to get yourself registered. They will outline that in the emails that they send to you. So when you register for the show, like weeks and weeks and weeks before you compete, you'll get some confirmation of things, but as the show gets closer to it, you will start to get some timings, you'll get the schedule, the amount of people that are in, you'll get the names of people. Sometimes depending on the day, you will be able to see who you are competing against. You'll see the names, it'll be on a little leaflet on the wall, something like that. And you know roughly when you're going to be on, or like when in the show you're going to be on. You need to be able to estimate what time that is. So make sure that you are there early, but obviously, when you are there, as I say, chill out, just relax as much as possible. Get your base coat on and just chill the fuck out. So on the day, I'm trying to think of much advice for people who are turning up. I think we've kind of covered majority of the stuff, to be fair, haven't we? Anything else to be thinking about, Finn? Anything?
The actual show day.
Yeah, like, again, it's hard for us because we're used to this stuff. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I would have.
Doing pump up bands and stuff, what lightning bells.
I think did I cover
you
that?
mention that?
Oh no, yeah, I've not covered the top
Yeah.
part. Yeah, so
Yeah.
pump up bands. Making sure that you've got bands. Like sometimes if you want, you can bring like light dumbbells, but carrying them into the venue, and depends on how you're getting here. You could do some light dumbbells, but pump up bands are usually best. You can adjust the resistance profile, so you can stand on them and do it wider, so you can get it much harder in that contracted position. Again, I would work on like a contracted range, so like really squeezing the muscle as much as you can, and it means you can go through everything. As I say, you can do a bicep curl with them, you can do a lateral raise, you can wrap it round like a wee pole in front of you, you can do some lat bias rows. You've got just like push-ups, so you can get one of the bros and get a towel. Who is it that always says that? It's one of the UKDFA guys. They get like a towel, and one of them does a tricep extension, one of them does a bicep curl.
Yeah.
We just used
I
to
did
use
that- I did
we
that
just
with
used to use
Sonny
we used to
before
use
he
towels in
came
the day. All these fucking pussies using bands. Someone says, I don't know who it is, it's one of the guys in the UKDFA, but bring your pump up bands, bring lots of food as well, food and water. Make sure that you get plenty of water to stay hydrated for after coming off stage. Last thing you want to be is super dehydrated coming off. Food wise, bring in easy carbohydrate sources, bring in your salt as well to make sure that you can again keep salt in your meals and stay hydrated, get the sodium in, and yeah, for like kind of carb sources, you're looking at honey, jam, squares bars,
Honey, rice cakes,
yes, pancakes.
dark chocolate if you need.
Yeah, so fat sources as well, dark chocolate. I done almonds at the time. You can do almond butter. Protein sources, like usually on the day you're ideally looking to keep the food volume nice and low, so like don't have your full size meals, don't be having like fruit and veg with your meals, etc. Keep it as low volume as possible to make sure that your midsection stays nice and tight. The days before, I would say the same thing as well. Like you're not looking to make sure fibre intake is perfect and micronutrient intake is perfect. Keep food volume relatively low. Obviously your peak depends on your physique as well, so I'm not going to comment on that and say what you should and shouldn't do, but definitely bring some easy carbohydrate sources along with you. So yeah, I think that covers everything. If we remember anything else, we will update you and let you know. I'm going to kind of record some more posing on stage. We went through the posing with Mikey, so I'll go through like the order, and Matt can maybe speak on that as well. Order of posing, and then what to be practicing on the lead up to stage, like through the weeks in general, so you know what to expect. Because it's very hot on stage as well. That's something to mention. Really hot, and you can't see shit. Were you ever really be able to see the crowd? Like,
No,
yeah, you
to be
can't
fair,
see much.
I think there was maybe one show where the lighting wasn't amazing, so I was actually able to see like family members and kind of pose to them a little bit.
Yeah.
Mainly during like the pose down.
It's
but
just more so you hear where people are. You
Yeah,
hear them shout,
yeah.
and then you literally know just where to lock into.
Yeah.
Or like if Finn's shouting something at me, or if we're shouting Mikey, quads, you know where to listen to.
But to be fair, all I really did was just look at the judges, mainly the head judge, but obviously look at all, pose to the head judge, but make eye contact with all, however
Yeah.
many judges. Look at them, smile, like you don't need to do a big
Wink
full
at them
cheesy.
and-
I did wink a couple of times at some of the female European judges, which might have helped. But no, I actually look like you're enjoying yourself up there. Like don't get on stage and then be like
Miserable
looking
as fuck,
scared
yeah.
shitless. Like fake a smile.
Yeah,
okay,
stage
even if you're
presence
not happy.
definitely counts as well. Like smiling while you're hitting your poses, making sure you're
Yeah.
not shaking like a shitting Doug, or you are Doug.
He's in, Doug. Doug's in.
Yes, I did see that he's about, but I've not spoken to him yet. But yeah, making sure that you are holding your poses as well. Don't like move about in them. Like make sure when you're practicing your posing, like you are holding them, that you're holding for a good, 5 to 10 seconds, because that's how long you're going to be held on stage. Think about it. If there's, like 7, 8, 9, 10 people on stage, like all at the one time, they're going to be comparing you at the start with your quarter tons. They're going to hold you for a good while. So yeah, we'll talk about posing some more later on, but for just now, I think that wraps up everything. 22 minutes of advice. I think that's really solid.
Oh, we should be paying people should be
Yeah,
paying
no.
for this.
Might make them. If anyone just wants to transfer me like £5 or something, I'll send you my bank details. But no, that covers everything for just now, and we shall catch you later on in the video. See ya.
Right guys, so this is what you can expect backstage. I mean, it does depend on the venue, how easy or hard it is to get backstage. It's a little bit of a maze here, but there's some venues where it's like a legit maze, like you have to have a degree in architecture to be able to get backstage. But luckily that nice female just opened this door for us, but we do have the code. Thank you. Sorry, I was on film. So yeah, I'm a nasty man. Basically, the competitors will be transitioned down through this hallway.
Hey guys, just a wee heads up, okay?
You've got dressing rooms here and here, like dressing room 3, dressing room 4. He's basically telling them how long they've got until they're going to be on.
Obviously, he's not going to tell you when to pump up,
But even when you're waiting here, you can be pumping up, and then as you would walk through, basically, as you get closer and closer to when you're going to be on stage, they take you through here, and then basically you go into this end bit, which obviously we'll go through. At this point, you should obviously have already had final time going to the toilet, pre-stage meals long gone in. You got your pump-up bands, you got your dumbbells, things like that. And then you'd come into like the backstage area. As you can see, they're about to go into the bikini classes. So obviously all this is basically like getting pumped up, getting ready to go on stage. At this point, you'll get your glaze, so that's what they're doing over there. Obviously the girls are pumping up, and then you can kind of get a feel for when you're about to go on. You'll have people obviously working within the federation, so obviously we're at the WMBF today, telling you when it's time for you to go on, getting you lined up in your number order. Again, at this point, like when you're about a minute or two from going on, like you don't need to be pumping up a crazy amount. You should have already done all your pump up, your glaze, everything like that. Make sure your badge is on correctly, make sure you've gone to the toilet, make sure you've got everything ready. Like, don't in the last minute be thinking, I've got to do X, Y, Z. Your last minute should just be you visualising the stage, visualising yourself on stage, maybe going through a few rounds of posing, either actually physically and or in your head. Like, I think when you're about 30 seconds before going on, breathe, take your time, compose yourself, visualise what you're going to do, and then head out there. But yeah, this is basically what you would expect on a show day.
And routine-wise, etc. Once you come off stage, you're waiting here.
Yeah, so it depends what class you're in, but usually, and it depends what show it is, but usually you'll go on, you'll do your mandatories, you'll have your comparisons basically against everybody. You'll come back off, and then you'll go and do individual routines. So if you're bikini or physique, etc., it'll be like stage walk, eye walk, etc. If you're bodybuilding, classic, etc., you'll do a routine for usually a minute, depends on the show, but usually a minute. With the comparisons as well, you'll go out in number order, you'll all get seen, you'll pose, and then basically you'll get an actual call out. So for example, let's say there's 15 people in your class. If you're in the first 5, numerically, that doesn't mean you're in the first call out. So you do, let's say, the first 5, the second 5, the third 5, then you'll all go to the back of the stage, and then they will choose who they want as like the first 5 people. Usually, that's the top 5. If you're called out in that first call out, that's a good sign. Usually means you're probably in the top 5 people. It can change, yeah. You might then be in, there's the second call out, third call out. Even if you're in the second call out, don't, feeling sorry for yourself. Likewise, if you're in the third call out, don't be, toys out the pram. Stay calm, stay confident, pose as well as you can, do the best that you can. Don't show emotion and upset on stage, it's just immature. And then, you work yourself up. You might be able to work yourself into that second or first call out. Sometimes you can get overlooked because you're at the edge of the stage. And then as you pose more and more, you get actually sort of pushed into the higher places. So don't be emotional on stage, don't get upset on stage. Likewise, if you're doing really well, don't be like, I'm gonna fucking win on stage. Do the job that you need to do, enjoy it, do the best that you can, and wait until all the results are called to either be happy or upset when you're off stage. Yeah, obviously if you win on the day, you can be buzzing on stage, but if you place, you can be buzzing. But don't be throwing your toys out the pram if you don't get looked at or the placing that you want. Usually it means, On the day people are a bit better than you need to come back better. That's bodybuilding.
For this wrap up of what to do on show day, hire Finn, hire Matt, go to Natural Physique Coaching, go follow Mikey Wham Quads,
Mikey Wham Quads.
That'd be a cool Instagram name.
Mikey
That would be a very
or inquire with me as well, or Noah.
Just be part of the team, guys. Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
That's all. We'll love you and leave you. Goodbye.
Bye bye.